Okay, so here we are with lesson 1.1, making a budget. First step to coming up with a good budget is to compare your income to your expenses. Your income is the amount of money you get on a yearly basis or a monthly basis. Several sources of income. There's also several types of expenses. We're going to look at income first. Okay, so here's an example, something about Mary. But we're actually going to go right to part one and use the example on the left here. An editor-writer, Elaine, makes $5,300 per month. She rents an apartment for $1,100 a month that has $250 in utility expenses. Elaine is not married, does not have any children or pets. She spends an average of $75 a week on groceries and household supplies. Her cell phone plan is $85 per month. She does like to shop and typically spends $120 per week on various items for herself. Elaine does dine out a few times per week and typically spends $90 at restaurants. She enjoys hanging out with friends, going dancing, and to the movies. Typically, she spends $100 a week doing these fun activities. Finally, Elaine lives in the city and does not own a car. She spends on average $75 a week on taxi fares. So let's go right back to the top here, source of income. All right, so her source of income is her job. Okay, she's a writer, editor. I believe it's for a magazine. Okay, and then $5,300 per month. Okay, now obviously to then take that and translate that to her yearly income, we would take $5,300 and multiply that by 12 months in a year and find out that she makes $63,600 a year. Okay, now the total would be the same because she doesn't mention anything about her having other part-time jobs. So we don't have to add anything up there. Okay, now we come down here to her expenses, right? So we got to sort of go back through the list that we already read there and determine which expenses and where they go here. So first is her rent. She pays $1,100 a month in rent. It tells us that her utility bill is $250 a month. No children, no child care. Doesn't say anything about a telephone. It does tell us she has a cell phone, which is $85 a month. Okay, so her cell phone plan is $85 a month. Oops, wrote that in the wrong spot. All right, so we're going to put that in there. Okay. Food-wise here, it tells us that she gets groceries. Now, her grocery bill, though, is a weekly bill. So that's $75 a week. Okay. So $75 a week, 4 weeks in a month, ends up being $300 per month. Tells us that she does like to dine out a few times a week, typically spends $90 a week. Again, that's a weekly cost. So per month, that would be $360. Clothing expenses. She does like to shop, $120 a week on herself, buying various things. I think she did buy a pair of Himalayan walking boots the other week. But anyway, so $120 a week, and then 4 weeks in a month, that's $480 on shopping. All right, it told us that the supplies went in with the groceries. Transportation, there you go, that's a good one. She doesn't have a car, so no car loans or maintenance, but she does take the taxi. Okay, she lives in the city, so that's $300 a month for taxi fare. Again, that's $75 a week times 4 weeks. Recreation, that would be things she does for fun and so forth. It tells us she hangs out with friends, goes dancing, and to the movies. $100 a week would be $400 a month. Doesn't tell us anything about gifts and contributions. Doesn't say anything about haircuts or anything like that. I'm sure she does. But no pets, no babysitting. Doesn't say anything about other. And there we go. So what we end up having here is all of her monthly expenses. And we're going to take those and we're going to total them. So you want to add all of those up. And you should get $32.75. Check my math on that. Okay. And then what we're going to do here is to get the monthly cost for each of these, we're just going to take them and times them all by 12. So once you go ahead and push pause on the video, you can do that. Times each of these numbers by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. And get your totals for the yearly cost, and then we'll see where we're at. One quick way to spot check yourself is to take, once you add up your yearly column, add them all together, we got $39,300, is to take your monthly column and multiply that by 12 to make sure you get the same number. And if you do, then you're good. So does your spending balance with your income? In this case, yes. Okay. As our spending is less than our income, right? We want spending to be less than income, all right? Then you're living a good life. It means you're able to save some money. So here is Mary's example from above that we talked about. Okay, so Mary's $180 over her monthly budget. That's a bad thing. That means she's going into debt, and that's not something we want. Okay, so down here at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and calculate our monthly balance. All right, so let's go back up here and see what our monthly income was. $5,300 a month, okay, was our income. And our monthly expenses were $32.75, so we're going to be on the plus side. That's a good thing. So if we take that $5,300 a month we're making and we take away the $32.75 we're spending, all right, we're banking $2,000 a month. That's best case scenario. So obviously other expenses creep up here and there, but there you go. That's your lesson 1.1. I'd like you to export that assignment there and submit it through Schoology for credit.